I kind of alluded to this before when we talked about the importance of getting grandma up and out of bed, but movement in general is super healing. And I'm not necessarily talking about exercise, although exercise is super good and also can help reduce blood sugar, which is helpful. But just even very gentle movement is really healing because it gets blood flowing so you can get the nutrients you need to heal a wound where they need to be. And additionally, you get your lymph fluid flowing so that can bring the junk that's left over from fighting an infection or building new tissues that can be brought away from the wound. So you're bringing the junk away, you're bringing the healing components to the wound with the bloodstream. All of this adds up to good wound healing. So again, with grandma, you're gonna have to be creative. It might mean, you coming over and helping her walk out to the mailbox, getting the walker and walking up and down the street. If she's totally bedridden, it might even mean you probably learning from a therapist how to do it, but you actually going in and moving her limbs for her, gently, of course, like following all the directions you're given, but without that movement, her blood is not gonna get where it needs to be to do the job it needs to do. And this is also gonna be good for her whole self, for her mental capacity, especially, and her mood. The physical touch and just movement are what we humans are made for. So doing those two things will not only help her wound, but just also help her much more holistically. And for someone who can move himself, when you have a huge wound, it's probably not the time to get back on your big workout routine, but just something gentle, stretching, walking, putzing around the house if it's all you can do. If it's something where you can't get up very easily, because maybe it's a wounded foot, fine, like do some leg lifts if that's possible. Move the upper body because that will get the lower body also having better blood flow, even if it's not ideal. Also, chiropractic care or massage are really helpful for getting better blood flow and better lymph flow. So it might be a little extra money, but in the end, it will be less money because that wound will heal itself without excessive medical intervention. And then one last topic, not my favorite topic, is other chemicals. So there are many things that can affect the body's ability to heal, but some kind of like the biggest ones are nicotine, steroids. So nicotine, you probably already know this if you're a smoker, but any form of nicotine will constrict the peripheral blood vessels. So meaning they're gonna get tighter and then you're not gonna get blood out like to your fingers and toes where so often those tough to heal wounds are. So if you can possibly cut back or get some help and figure out how to quit, that will make all the difference in your wound healing. And even just cutting back will help. So just because you can't go for the gold and quit all the way, doing what you can will make a big difference. And steroids are also the same thing. Steroids reduce the immune system as well as reducing the growth system, which is also the healing system. So if you're on steroids, even with good reason, those steroids can really affect your ability to heal. So this might be a moment for a conversation with a doctor of, hey, what can I do to get off of this steroid? And as you continue watching my series, hopefully I can give you some tools that might kind of help you to be able to move in that direction, but never stop taking a steroid without a conversation with a doctor first, because you could really cause yourself some serious damage. And so if you are watching this and you're like, no, that's me, I'm smoking and I can't quit and I'm on steroids, like, what am I gonna do? That's the moment to stop and pray. These uphill battles are where the Lord loves to come in and save us. And I always love the gospel story of the loaves and the fishes. So they're in a deserted place and the disciples say to Jesus, like, hey, there's no food, send everybody away so they can get something to eat so they don't pass out. And Jesus says, well, look to it yourselves. And they're like, Jesus, there's no food. Like, it would take days and days and days of all of us working to feed all these people. Can't do it. And Jesus just was like, oh, look to it yourselves. So they come up with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. That is not enough to feed this multitude of thousands of people. But he takes the loaves and fishes and he blesses them and he makes that measly offering enough. And he feeds the 5,000 with 12 baskets left over. So when you feel like you have nothing to give, pray and then come up with your loaves and fishes and give them to our Lord and allow him to come in and rescue you and make them enough. And remember that I can do all things in him who gives me strength. So may Jesus, through his direct graces and also through the information in this video, help you to be fully alive for his glory and to heal every wound of yours.